Happy Saturday, millionaires. It's time to manifest. My name is Christy Staples, and I am here to speak with you about manifestation, manifesting your vision through branding and strategy. So just pretend like I'm at the door of the workshop room and I'm telling you to come on in. So just come on in, come on in. I want to be able to interact with you. I want you to be able to chat with me. So please, I'm in the studio by myself, so don't leave me out here by myself, okay? So please chat if you have any questions along the way. If you have any comments, if you like, oh, girl, that's me, make sure you put that in the chat and let me know. So I don't want to be out here by myself, right? Because there's nobody in the studio with me, right? I got my people here, and I really want to be a blessing to you this morning. So if there's something that you want to know more about, just put it in the chat. And I'm looking at the chat right here. So if I look over here, I'm looking at the chat. But I want to tell you a little bit about me, okay? My name is Christy Staples, and if you can tell by my accent, because when I get really excited, you can hear that Mississippi girl come out of me. I am from Mississippi. Now, if anybody knows anything about Mississippi, Mississippi is the poorest educational school system. It is one of the most poverty mindsets that you can have, right? So I should not be here in Houston, okay, 20 years later, having gone through a full scholarship at TSU, having gotten my master's, have been a homeowner for 16 years. I bought my first house when I was 23. Like, there's no way I should be on somebody's back porch being somebody's mama. That's the skill set, that's the lane that people will take from Mississippi because people were scared to leave out. But what changed it for me, listen closely, what changed it for me was I was an 8-year-old girl. And I knew at 8 years old, God put something inside of me that says, you don't belong here. You were born here, but you will not belong here. At 8 years old, I told my mother, here I am, 8 years old. You just learned how to read, write, and speak good at 8 years old. I told my mother, Mom, Mississippi is too small for me. She looked at me, she said, what? I said, Mississippi is too small for me. I said, I've been reading, and I know there's a big world out there, and I want to go explore it as soon as I'm old enough. And she was like, that's my baby. At 8 years old, I started manifesting the life that I'm living now. I've traveled internationally. I've traveled all over the United States. I've traveled extensively with jobs and different, and for leisure. So I knew at 8 years old, because God planted a vision and a seed in me at 8 years old, that I was too big for Mississippi. I knew I didn't belong there. I was born there, but I didn't belong there. So how did I get to this place? How did I get to this level of manifestation in my life? Well, I'll be honest with you, it wasn't easy. It was hard. It was sacrifice. It was being called stuck up because I would rather be in the house reading a book and not out playing with the other kids, because I knew I had something special and I had to use what was special to me to get out of Mississippi. So what was that? That was two things, my brain and my body. Now don't go there with the body. I mean, my physical height. God made me 6'4". I am 6 feet 4 inches, guys. If you've never seen me stand up, you will not miss me. Promise you, you will not miss me. But I am 6'4", and I knew by the time I was 3rd grade, I had a growth spurt, and I was taller than my teacher. And so I was taller than the boys. So I said, I got to use my height to get me out of Mississippi. So I was already smart, brains, and then I had height. So I knew I had to get out of Mississippi. So I used those two things to get out of Mississippi. So when I was in 3rd grade, they tested me. They said, oh, she's gifted. So I started going to school 4 days out of a week. That one day I went to a gifted class. That gifted class opened me up to so much more. Who's gifted in Mississippi? Like, who you came up with that test? And so when I took that test and I started going to this gifted class, I started learning about Jacques Cousteau. We started going to the planetarium and different things. No other little black kids were doing that in Mississippi from the school I went to. It was only about 10 of us. Nobody was doing that. So I started at 8 years old with the vision that I knew I was too big for Mississippi. And so everything that came into my way started feeding that vision, started feeding that seed, started watering that seed. This is a petal conference, right? So we're talking about flowers. So at that point, I was a seed I was a seed being watered. I was a seed that had been planted. And so then I started to grow as I got older and older. And so I go into my college years. I get a basketball scholarship. Who gets discovered by a basketball coach in the McDonald's drive-thru line? This girl. Because I knew once again that I had to get out of Mississippi. So my first job, I went to Memphis to work. I had a cousin and a family had just moved there. So I was like, Mom, I'm going to Memphis for the summer. I had just turned 16. So I was old enough to go. She said, okay, go, baby. Because her rule was once you got to high school or once you got to middle school, you couldn't stay here in the summers. You had to be constructive in the summer. So I went to UT Knoxville to that math and science program. I was in Upward Bound. So I was on Mississippi Valley State campus doing. So I've been immersed in things early. Feeding the vision, feeding the seed, cultivating the seed. Those are the things that I was doing. So when I got to Houston, that was nothing hard for me. It wasn't hard for me because I was used to being ambitious and going after my dreams. So it didn't matter where you planted me. All that mattered is I was being watered and fed. So don't ever get to the point where you can't be watered and fed. You can't be a seed again because you sprout, but even as you sprout, stuff falls off, right? Your flowers, and that's more seeding. So continue to be seed and fed, okay? So let's talk about manifestation. What is manifestation? So this is my definition for manifestation because we're going into a little bit of business with it. So manifestation is when an idea becomes real. Have you ever had a dream you like, oh my gosh, I woke up in this dream and it felt so real? To me, that's a version of manifestation, right? That's a version of manifestation because it was something that seemed so real. And eventually it can become real. And what I want to hone in on by manifestation is when you establish your dreams as a part of your daily life, pretty much when you're living out your dreams. Right now, I'm living out my dreams because I have cultivated and created the life and business that I want, right? So I've done that because I've been a seed and I've been watered and I've been growing and I've been growing and I've been growing. And so when you start to do and see results, then you know what's working for you. And so what's working for you, you continue to do it. You never get away from your baseline. You never get away from what's been getting you the results that you need. Okay? So when I started really seeing the results in my life, it was because, number one, I always tried to separate, compartmentalize my life. Like, okay, this was the country, Christy. Okay, so people know me from there. Okay, so this is my TSU days when I was a basketball player. Okay, that's the other girl. So here's the church girl, Christy. You know, when I was serving in ministry in armor bearer. This is that church girl, Christy. But here's the business Christy, and here's the really smart Christy. So I tried to live my life in compartments. And so when I live my life in compartments, nobody could really feel and get a sense of the total me, including me. So I wasn't getting the results of a whole Christy because I was living in compartments. So when I really took hold of the scripture that all things work together for your good, so everything that I had been through from Mississippi to TSU to church to schooling, when all of those things came together, it became explosive. Because then I started to see the power of truly who I am. Basketball made me competitive. Mississippi made me able to adapt and to adjust and to be able to live on my own and sustain. Church made me foundational, spiritually fit. It made me grow my faith. Business, okay, that's smart. I learned how to interact with people. I became social. I became all these different things. So I truly began to live the life that I wanted because I started to manifest these things because I had a vision, okay? I had a vision. I knew exactly what I wanted in my life. I was very ambitious as a little girl. That didn't change. I kind of got lax in some areas, but that didn't change, okay? So that's the true definition of manifestation. When you create the life and business that you want, because your dreams have not become a part of your daily reality. That's a part of your daily life. Like, I'm living my dreams. Like, that's not a social media quote. That's not a hashtag. That is a lifestyle. When you can dream and think about something, and then you attract it into your life because you're open for it. You don't have these self-sabotaging behaviors. You don't have these self-limiting beliefs that you know, hey, I deserve this. This is what I desire. And I'm very clear on what it is that I desire. Okay? So next, let's go to why does a brand matter? Okay? Branding is a true buzzword, right? So I'm a brand strategist, and the way that people have watered down the word brand is not a good thing, right? And it's not a good thing because everybody is looking to protect a brand that does not necessarily have a brand, because they don't know the true understanding of it, and they haven't put the time and effort into truly developing a brand. And so why does a brand matter? Let's talk about what a brand is. So a brand is a mixture of your reputation with your style. So my reputation and my style is a total different mixture from somebody else that could be just like me, because we have different styles. So that's how you can be in a saturated market, and you could be saying the same thing that somebody else is saying, but you have your audience, the other person has their audience. Because I'm going to resonate with some people that are not going to resonate with somebody else. And we can be saying the same thing, but it's just your brand is more attractive to this person because what? You guys have more things in common, okay? You have more things in common. And so what you're saying is really attracting that person, is really honing into that person because they've gone through the same thing. And when you're really open and transparent, not giving away all your business, but when you put stuff out there and just show people not only your highlight reel, but you also show them like, hey, this is a moment when I struggle. And so I've been doing it a lot lately. I call it my living out loud. And I show people with me struggling in the gym. I show people with me sweating and just going through a grueling workout. Because when I post a video like I did last night saying, hey, I got into these jeans that Corona was about to take them out, that's a reward. That's awesome. And that's the results of you seeing me going through this grueling workout, showing up every day, doing cardio, checking in. Okay? So that's why a brand matters. Also, your brand precedes you before anybody else comes into contact with you. It precedes you. So people already have a perception or already have an idea of who you are because of what they see on social media, because of what other people have said about you, just because of, things just kind of floating around in the wind. So your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. It's what precedes you before people even meet you. Okay? And also a brand it has a distinct story. You have an encouraging message. So your lifestyle or what you put out there is part of your brand. So my brand is very inspiring, motivational, encouraging. I'm going to, cut you sometimes, but I'm also going to lift you back up. And I'm also going to tell you, hey, well, I got cut. And I'm going to lift myself back up. So that's a part of your brand. What do you really say? What is your message? What are you really saying to your people? That's a part of your brand, and that's your story, okay? So can't nobody tell your story like you do. Like nobody has that story about me being an 8-year-old girl in Mississippi playing basketball to get out of Mississippi and being smart. Like not too many people have that story, but you can resonate with different parts of that story. And that's part of my brand because that's my brand story, okay? And so when you're operating in business mode, you have to be laser focused on the problem and the end result. And then that will become the bridge that gets them together, right? So when you are in business and you laser focus on the problem and the end result becomes the bridge, that's a part of your brand. If you are a solution, if they call you the plug, this is what you do. You solve problems. And that can become part of your brand. Your brand is just your reputation, what people know you for, what people come to you for. So your brand is not just on social media or just a logo or just a hashtag or just some pretty pictures or a photo. No, your brand is totally who you are. It's what you say, what you do, how you act, how you show up. That's part of your brand. If you show up in a t-shirt and jeans, that's part of your brand. If you show up in a backpack, because now when I'm doing my stuff, I carry a backpack all the time. So that's part of my brand now because I'm always walking with my computer with me because I never know when I'm going to need something. And that's just me being available and being on the drop of a dime. That's part of my brand. Okay? So let's move on to the 4-part strategy. Let's move on to the strategy. So that was brand, that was manifestation. Let's move on to the strategy piece, because you can truly create and design the brand that you desire with strategy. That's how you do it. You do it through strategy. And where does strategy come from? I'm gonna be honest with you. My strategy went to a whole different level when I started praying and asking God for the strategy. Because you get so smart that you think you know it all. And then when you start operating and it doesn't work, you say, okay, God, I'm not getting the results I want. And you really start inviting him in, that's when the magic happens. That's when everything like it's a aha moment and the light bulb goes off. Because I prayed and asked God for the strategy. There's no blueprint in business. There's only strategy. And the strategy is, God, what would you have for me to do? God, who is this client that I need to service today? God, show me, instruct me, guide me as to how to get this plan or how to lay out this plan to get them what they need. God, what is it that we need to play out? What are they not telling me? These are questions I go in through my head every day when I'm dealing with clients. God, what are they not telling me? God, where's their fear? God, what's stopping them? God, what's the block? God, who are they listening to? Because I can tell just as good that they have a conversation with somebody else. And then it comes back to me. I said, okay, so who have you been talking to? But that's insight. That's me really being intuitive and allowing God to use me and awaken the Holy Spirit in me to instruct me and be my guide. That's it. That's the strategy. That's the strategy. So you can go to any strategist or any person that you need help from. But ultimately, the strategy that's going to work is going to come from God. Because you can take what these individuals tell you, you can take what they give you, and then you pray about it. Now, God, how do I use this to fit me? Because it needs to fit you and your lifestyle and your personality. Because if it doesn't, it's going to show up as inauthentic, and people are not going to be attracted to it. They're not going to be attracted to it because it doesn't feel like you. And you're going to be pressed because it's like, oh, it doesn't feel right because it's not you. Okay? Ask God for your strategy. That's strategy. So the 4 parts to my strategy that I take clients through, that I have, that God just downloaded in me, is 1, the launch pad. 2, ignite. 3, amplify and propel. Okay, so let's break down launch pad. Launch pad is vision. Launch pad is vision. This is where so many people struggle because you don't have a vision for your life. Even the Bible tells you, hey, write the vision, make it plain. Like it doesn't have to get hard. It doesn't have to be difficult. It's not a long, drawn-out process. It is simple. Write the vision, make it plain. But you have to sit still long enough for God to download the vision in you. That's what you have to do. There is no, I can't go copy this from the textbook. I can't go copy this because your vision is specific to you. And then when God gives you the vision, don't make the mistake of going around to others for them to confirm it. God will confirm his vision. He'll send a stranger to you to confirm your vision. He'll let you see a commercial. He'll let you see the back of a truck that's in front of you. It'll be subtle, but it'll grab your attention just like that. That's what that's what the launch pad is about. The launch pad is about the basic branding, the basic branding foundation is to get clear on what type of life you want to live, get clear on who you want to be known for, because that's part of your brand. What do I want to be known for? How do I want people to view me on social media? How do I want to show up? What do I want people to come to me for? That's part of your brand basics in that foundation. That's part of that. It's really getting clear on who you are, because I'm going to tell you the truth. If you're not clear on what you want and who you want to be and the life that you want to live, then you're just wasting your money by hiring consultants or marketing people and all these people, because it's not going to work, because you're trying to hit a moving target. And if you try to hit a moving target, it will move every time. You will not hit it. You won't. So if you really, really, really want to manifest this life, you have to be clear on exactly what you want. You can't be vague. You have to be really clear on what it is that you want. And you can't be afraid of it. And mostly you have to believe. You have to believe in it. You have to believe that you're worthy to receive it. You have to believe that it can happen for you. You have to believe that it's capable and it's possible. Okay? So that's where we are with the launch pad. The launch pad is ground zero. It is foundation. It is basics. It is what do you want to do? Who are you? Okay? So then we move to ignite. Okay? So we move to ignite. So ignite is when things take fire. Right? Ignite is when you begin to separate yourself from others. And how do you do that? That's where the strategy comes in. That's where you create the plan. Okay? This is where action planning comes in. Okay? So when you ignite, you create a plan on how you're going to get to who you want to become and the life that you want to live. Okay? That's simple. But you can't get to that point if you're not clear on what it is that you want. So get clear on what you want to be known for, what you want your brain to stand for, and then you have to ignite. You start to separate yourself. You separate yourself by creating a plan that's specific for you. Okay? Next, we're going to amplify. I think this is where I'm at with my brand. So once you get clear on what it is that you want, once you create the plan, then it's like shout it from the mountaintop. Amplify your voice. Tell your story over and over. Let people connect with you. Because I done did all the internal work. So now it's time to go and tell the public, hey, let me reintroduce myself. My name is Christy Lachelle Staples. And this is what I stand for. This is who I am. This is how I'm going to show up. This is how I train. This is how I work out. This is how I live my life. And so when you can do that, then you're amplifying your voice. You continue to say the same things over and over and over and over. But you say it in different ways. You say it in different types of posts. Amplify your voice. You done seen a man get on the megaphone at the games and different things, and you can hear them clear across the stadium because they have amplified their voice. That's the same thing that you're doing. So no longer is just family and friends know about you. So now people in Connecticut, now people in Bahamas, now people in Brazil, all of them know about you because you've amplified your voice. You're no longer scared to be who you are. Most importantly, you're no longer scared to be who God created you to be. Did you get that? You're no longer afraid of what people are going to say about you for going after your dreams because you're clear. God gave me this dream and this vision, and I'm going after it. And nothing's going to stop me. Okay? Amplify your voice. Use social media. Use YouTube. Use all the things that are accessible to you. Anytime you get a chance to be on a platform, anytime you get in a place to ask a question, amplify. Let people know who you are. And be confident in who you are. Okay? So next we're going to move over to propel. So propel is when things take off. Propel is when people start being attracted to your message. Propel is the point where everything kind of becomes on autopilot. Okay? You can go to the actual propel slide. It's when things get on autopilot. It's when things are smooth sailing. It's when you no longer have to introduce yourself. It is when you become self-sufficient. It's when people start being attracted to you because you're just so magnetic. You're propelling. So that means that you're smooth sailing, that you're in an upward trajectory, that you're growing, that you're getting things done. And most importantly, you're accomplishing your goals. That's what you're doing. When you're propelling, you're accomplishing your goals. Because now it's like I've taken the training wheels off. I've done all the work. And so now it's time for me to propel. Okay? So now you saturate the market. So you've amplified, told people who you are. So now you saturate the market. And what is that? Using social media. Using all the free tools that are available for you. Anytime you can be on a platform, be on a platform. Do your content marketing. When you email your list. When you're being consistent about that. When you're blogging. When you're video blogging. When you have strategic partners, partner with other people, collaborate with them. They have an audience that would like your message. Partner with people. You can't do everything in a silo. You can't do everything by yourself. Email, text message marketing. And then the last piece is automation. Now, we all know that life gets hectic. And when life gets hectic, you need some tools and some systems, right? So here's the gem, the nuggets. So make sure you take notes on this part. There are certain things in your life that you can automate, right? So we all know now, everybody loves Instacart. Everybody loves to do those different things. But there are some parts of your business that you can automate and that will help you bring the vision and the manifestation a little bit clearer, because now you got some systems in place. So with your schedule or with your calendar, when people book an appointment with me, I don't have to go back and forth with them and say, hey, I'm available at Tuesday at 5. And then they don't respond back to Monday at 2. And then at Tuesday at 5 is gone. So no, I just have a link to my calendar that says, hey, book me. They click the link. It gives them a time that I'm available. Boom, boom, boom. They're on my calendar. I show up. It tells them how to show up to the meeting, whether it's a Zoom meeting, whether it's a conference. It shows them how to do that. With your social media, take Sundays as your planning day and schedule out your social media for the week. There's a number of the things that you can use. You can actually use the mechanisms inside of Facebook, or you can use some third-party systems like Planoly, like OnlyPort, OnlyPost, or actually through, you can schedule your Instagram posts actually through Facebook now. So those are some things that you can really automate and take the pressure off you by going back and forth. Okay? Your contracts, your templates, anything that you do over and over and over, turn it into a template. So all you have to do is just put the person's name in there, drag and drop, boom, it's done. It's already pre-written. Those emails, drag and drop, boom, put them in there. So make your life easier by automating as much as you can, and then do batch work. If you're gonna, like on Sundays, I do all my content for the week. So if I'm doing videos, if I'm doing writings, I do all that stuff in a big chunk of time. I give myself 2 hours to do that, and I work on it, and I do it. So do batch work, okay? And so lastly, I want to close with this. If you are in the process of building a brand and you're manifesting the life and the business that you want, none of this will work if you don't believe in you. When my confidence was low and I was just kind of like confused, unclear, didn't really know what I wanted to do, I got all types of clients. I got all types of things happening in my life. But when those things start happening, I started saying, well, I don't like this. Okay, so I know not to go for this anymore. And the hardest thing to do is when something comes towards you that you've been used to and you have to turn it down. It feels so weird. It feels so yucky. You feel so guilty for doing it. But no longer will I have guilt and shame for rejecting or blocking what I no longer want in my life to have space to receive. Because what you're doing is you open up the space and opportunities in your eyesight and your foresight for things that you want. Because you're making yourself available for the things that you want. And so the longer that you have the things that you don't want in your life, then you don't have space to even see the new stuff that you do. So now you jumbled up with all this stuff that you really don't want, and it's taking up space, and then something comes along that you really do want. You can't even take it on because you have no space for it. You have no capacity for it. So believe that God placed a vision in you. Believe that you are worthy to receive it. Believe that it can happen for you at whatever level God gives it to you. But you have to let him download the strategy in you, because if he gives you the vision, he's going to give you the strategy too. And also provide the provision, the resources, the people, the connections. So just be open to willing to receive and believe that it can happen to you. This is Christy Staples. This is how you manifest vision through branding and strategy. This is how you start to believe in yourself and boost your confidence. Thank you for your time today. You can follow me on social media at CO Staples or Hire Get Launched. I'm also my website, www.getlaunchdtoday.com. That's how you can find me. So thank you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. If I need to explain something from this session, feel free to reach out to me. I'm available, and I'm very social because I'm living out loud, because now I believe the vision that God has placed inside of me. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of the conference.